Okay, so the amp, first of all, is a cascaded design. Okay, so what that means is instead of having two channels, switching back and forth between two channels, we've got a preamp, and then we've got an overdrive, and then we've got an output section. The preamplifier is this volume control here, treble, middle, bass. It's basically a Fender Vibrolux preamplifier. Okay, so if we're on no lights, we've got volume, treble, middle, bass, and it's like your clean sound. And then this is the reverb control. And if the reverb is unplugged, if the jack is unplugged in the back, the reverb is always on. But if you plug in the pedal, light on means reverb on. Okay, so tone bypass. If we press the tone bypass button, it turns off this tone control and switches from this volume to the outer ring volume control. Which is kind of a cool rhythm guitar sound.
Yeah. Stuff like this. So I can see the lights.
Now, internally, there is a trim pot, a little blue trim pot on this reverb control that allows you to compensate a difference in reverb between the clean and the tone bypass. Because when you switch back and forth between clean and tone bypass, especially if you're using the tone bypass cranked, the reverb went to like stupid lot of reverb.
Yeah.
So it's got a little trim pot inside that I use to compensate, and I have it set for kind of rockin' volume, right? If we turn it down really, really quiet, the tone bypass isn't that useful anyway.
Okay.
All right? So
can you adjust that pot with the outer? Is that what you're saying?
no.
Okay,
That
something else.
pot's inside.
Okay.
But if you ever decided that, boy, when I switch the tone bypass on, I really lose all the reverb, or boy, I wish it went all the way away,
Yeah.
or something like that, we could adjust it,
That's fine.
right? And it's pretty easy to get to. The amp, you just take off the top back panel, these 4 screws. There's nuts underneath, so catch the nuts, just like a Fender amp. Nuts and washers. And she'll pull right out the back, right? And then you can see that little trim pot. That's the only internal thing like that. Everything else on the amp is on the outside where you can get to it, which is why it has so many knobs. Most amps have all these controls. They're just inside fixed resistor style, so you can't really turn them. Okay, so that's the clean preamp and the clean reverb. Blue light, tone bypass, switches to this volume control, turns off the tone control. If we turn on the red light, that activates the overdrive here. And what we've got is gain, drive, overdrive master, tone bypass master. Because you can use the tone bypass when you also are in overdrive, right? Red and blue together. That's your highest gain setting. So just to kind of go through everything, clean, Tone bypass gives us more gain. Overdrive gives us a whole gain section that we can adjust here with separate gain, drive, and master volume. And then if we turn on the tone bypass, we get a separate master volume for that. Okay? And anytime the red light is on, the reverb is on this second control. Okay? And the overdrive, whenever the overdrive is on, you have not only a separate reverb control, but you have a secondary EQ, which is only active when you're in overdrive. But it's important to note that when you're in overdrive, both EQs are active. What you would typically do is adjust the EQ for your clean sound, right? And then turn on the overdrive and use the secondary EQ to kind of compensate, right? And after you get the feel of the amp, you start fudging your clean sound this way and that way to make the overdrive sound a little more of that, and pretty soon you get a setting that dials everything in. I change it for different guitars, and it's well, pretty much what I do first is I put the amp on its clean setting. Now, on a Strat, I really suck out a lot of mids and turn the treble up quite a bit. I probably wouldn't do that with my guitar, just to show you.
Was that on the treble pickup?
Yeah, well, I was using treble pickup and treble in middle.
Yeah, all right.
And then, oh, that's your guitar. Where's my guitar? It's the
Right here.
other black one. I bungled your tuner, don't forget it.
Okay.
Okay, so. On my guitar. I have a
Bridge
humbucker.
Bridge humbucker.
Yeah, I have a bridge humbucker, so I probably set things a bit differently. Right? So because my clean sounds a little different, now I'm going to go for a little bit more of this on the back. And we're probably at about 1 o'clock on the back controller. Now the trim control goes in between the preamp and the overdrive, and it decides how much of the output from the preamp hits the front end of the overdrive. Think of it as a fuzz or a fizz control. For playing at low volumes, I usually crank it, and at normal to louder volumes, I somewhere between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Yeah. All right. So, last thing to put on the video, let's look at the back.
Okay.
I'm gonna plug this. There is yon impedance selector, and because we were playing through the big cabinet, which is an 8 ohm cabinet, we're set on 8 ohms. But we're going to go back to the internal cabinet, which is 16 ohms. I like to use the guitar pick. Boink! And now we're all groovy again.
Tell me about this. Why this choice of speaker here?
That's my favorite Celestion. It's a Celestion G12K100, and I simply prefer the sound and the versatility of the 16 ohm speaker. I know normally in a combo amplifier you typically see an 8 ohm speaker, but I feel like with the 16 ohm speaker I both kind of like the darker tone. Especially with a guitar like a Strat, right? Especially with the caps that are in this amp, it really, I wouldn't want to have like a greenback or a real mid-rangey speaker in this. Otherwise, you lose the clean tone, and the dirty sound might be fun.
Yeah.
But you know, this is a well-rounded speaker compared with the older speaker I used to use, which was G12T75. In the open back combo cabinet, it has much better bass response without sacrificing any of the clarity of the top. So it makes a nice clean sound.
All right, we're at 15 minutes.
That's the whole thing.
Nice.